Hey everybody, this is Dr. Duncan McCollum coming to you live from KSCO Radio. Unfortunately, for some reason, the power has caused a problem with the station here. So I'm not broadcasting live on KSCO right now, but I am broadcasting to you. And this is the 31st of December 2022, and potentially my last live broadcast from KSCO, but I'm hoping not, because I've enjoyed for the last 4 years being able to give you guys my thoughts and do everything I can to try to get information about how you can be healthier into your hands, and also be able to help so many people that I can with the stem cell machine and the chiropractic that we provide. We've done a lot of stuff with nutrition along the way. We talked about the ketogenic diet, early adapters of that 4 or 5 years ago, when it was before it was popular. We were talking about how to fast correctly, diet variation, which is very important that you understand what diet variation is and use it. In other words, the body does not like being on the same diet forever. It wants variation. You just like the seasons change. In the old days, we would change various foods. That's what we need to do as well when we're talking about diet and how to help our body be as healthy as it can. So the understanding that one of the main things that we have coming up in this year is a chance to really change our future, change our lives, and we get to do that by just deciding to make it happen. And I'm doing a workshop with my staff next week. Every year we get together and we do beginning the year goal setting, plans, try to find out what I can do to help each of my staff member achieve what they want to achieve in the year and further them along that in their life. So I downloaded some definitions of purpose and power of purpose. So I'll read some of them to you because I thought they were pretty cool. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by a lack of meaning and purpose. So life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by a lack of meaning and purpose. That's from Viktor Frankl. And he's, pretty amazing, the information that he puts out there. But just think about it. We are only where we are because of the decisions we've made and things that we've done. We can point all the fingers we want wherever we want. But if you go ahead and point at something, realize that you're pointing one finger out, 3 fingers are coming back to you. So we have a huge ability to manifest our own destiny. And I believe that we have the ability to do that, and I know we do, because if you don't try to change something, it's not going to change. Everything that got us here to where we are today is not going to get us where we want to go. So it's time to change. Here's another quote I love from Mark Twain. The 2 most important days in life are the day you are born and the day you discover the reason why. So Mark Twain, very incredible guy, so much on purpose. He's just one of those guys that you want to listen to. Any luck out there yet?
I don't think so.
Okay.
They're working on it.
Okay. So I'm here at KSCO, and the station is not broadcasting right now, but I am broadcasting live on Facebook like I normally do. MZ's out here trying to figure out how to get us on the air. So what I'll probably do is just get this to Billy at some time. Hopefully he can put it on the station so that you'll be able to listen to it at another time. Sounds good. Thanks, MZ. So here's a couple other thoughts. This is by Les Brown. Les Brown's an amazing guy, amazing opinion leader, salesman. He says, too many of us are not living our dreams because we are living our fears. So are you living your dreams or living your fears? Maybe 2023 is the time to start reaching for the stars, fall back on the moon, but reach for what it is that you want. And here's another quote by Simon Sinek. Why do you get out of bed this morning? Why did you get out of bed this morning, and why should anybody care? Who are you going to affect today? What kind of influence are you going to have over other people? It's so much. There's a quote from, if I can find it here, it's from Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa says, basically, if every time you come across a person, you don't leave them feeling a little bit better or happier, then that should be your goal. So every time you come in contact with somebody, if you could help them feel a little bit better, a little happier about life or themselves, you're actually serving a purpose, because, the number one thing, the best thing that we can do on this planet is serve others. And that's, that's a huge thing for us, to try to help others become more able. Here's a quote out of Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people perish. So, this is the end of the year. We've had an incredible amount of stress over the last 3 years with all of the shenanigans going on. It's definitely time that we do something to increase our ability and help other people and bring the world together so that we can actually achieve the dream. There is an American dream, right? Why so many people want to come to our country, and so many times I see foreigners that have come to our country who are living better lives than the ones that aren't, the ones that have grown up in this country. And I see so many people who live in this country being a victim of circumstances rather than reaching for the moon and striving to do everything that they can in their life. Here's a quote from Buddha. Your purpose in life is to find your purpose and give your whole heart and soul to it. So, and here's one by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Good luck is another name for tenacity and purpose. So tenacity and purpose, if you don't have a goal or a dream or something that you're reaching for, sit down with it now in the new year, or maybe New Year's Day, or by the end of the weekend, and write down 3 things that you would like to see happen in your life or in somebody else's life that you love. I think it's really important for us to do that. Unfortunately, I still don't think we're on the air, but there's a chance that we will come back on the air here soon. I am, again, broadcasting this on Facebook, so I can get it back onto KSCO's station. I'm really wanted to say farewell to everybody out there. It's unfortunate that the station, for some reason, went down right now. I'm going to step away, and I'll be right back in a second. Okay, so I'm back, and for those of you that are just coming on KSCO, this is potentially the last show on KSCO. It is closing on at the end of today, after 70 years, I've been broadcasting for 4 or 5 years on it. However, I just got word that we might be remedying something here, but I just want to let you know how much I've loved talking to you all. I'm going to continue to do my broadcasts one way or another. We're talking about purpose today. What drives some people to greatness and others into mediocrity, and I'm taught greatness doesn't have to be that you've got financial wealth and you've got all these possessions. It could be that you are incredibly happy with your life and that you've done things that have had a huge impact on other people. So again, one of the quotes from Mother Teresa that I was just looking at is, every time you leave somebody, you should leave them happier. And I forget the rest of the quote, but it was really cool. These people that spend their life giving are some of the happiest people. A lot of the times, the people that are, wondering what happened or why they're not getting a break, the best thing that they can do is go out and serve others, because when you serve other people, that's when you are fulfilled the most. When you help somebody, something happens. The serotonin level is emitted from your body, and you actually have a much greater survival potential when you're helping people. So I'm going to look at a couple more quotes here. Let's see. This is Frederick Niksevich. To forget one's purpose is the commonest form of stupidity. Wow. To forget your purpose is the commonest form of stupidity. Now, of course, you have to know your purpose in the first place. So purpose is the place where your deep gladness meets the world's needs. Frederick Buckner. Purpose is a place where your deep gladness meets the world's needs. Interesting. So when you're on purpose, or you found some kind of purpose in your life, you're doing something that is fulfilled. All right, even my Facebook is starting to kick out on me here. Here's one from Picasso. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. Wow. Picasso. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. So that's interesting. And as an artist, and as a musician, playing music is so amazing, because when you are playing in that aesthetic band wave, it is a connection between people that creates something. It's a bond that you just can't create often with words or other things. That aesthetic wave of music is pretty amazing. Here's one by Robert Byrne. The purpose of life is a life of purpose. The purpose of life is a life of purpose. So, here we are, KSCO, last show of the year, potentially last show I'll ever broadcast from here. Hopefully not. Hopefully we'll remedy the situation and get everybody back on the air. At least I want to be on the air, because I love talking to you guys. But I was looking at what makes a business successful and not successful. I've been in business for over 35 years. We have a good sized practice. We treat hundreds of people a week. We have the only real stem cell treatment in the area. And we have a great time helping people and a great staff. But I'm going to meet with them on Tuesday, and I thought, well, I'm going to tell you all out there some of the stuff I want to go over with them, because I think if we understand what makes a business successful, then potentially we can use that to make our own lives successful. So the first thing that I talk to my staff about is something called a valuable final product. What is the valuable product that any business produces? or a spouse or a child? Or what is the valuable final product? So what's valuable? So if we look at the word valuable, it's worth a great deal of money according to Webster's dictionary. In essence, valuable means it is very hard to find and people really want it and they will pay a lot to get it. Otherwise it wouldn't be valuable, right? It's basically scarce, costly, and strongly desired. So when we look at a valuable final product, if you have any kind of business that's going to succeed, you've got to have something that's valuable to people, or you're not going to succeed at all. You can have build an amazing widget. It could be incredible. It could even save the human race, or maybe the answer to global warming. But if it is hidden in your garage and nobody knows about it, it has no value to people on earth because nobody knows about it. So we're looking at a valuable final product. The next word, final, in this definition means coming at an end of a series. Okay? So when you're doing a service, there's a value, and then there's something that occurs at the end of that service that would become a product, which is a thing or person that is the result of an action or a process. So valuable final product in essence is you find something that people need, it's valuable, it's hard to get, it's desirable, and then you find a way to present it to the world, or to, in my case, to my patients, and they get something out of it at the end that makes them feel good, right? So if I were to define my valuable final product, it would be simply happy, healthy patients that refer others because they're happy with the service. They came in with a condition they wanted to get changed, and we were able to help them with that. And then they felt good about what we did, and then they were referring other people in. So I have a question. It sounds good, right? Well, how valuable is chiropractic to society then? Okay, well, this is a really good question because is it scarce? Remember, valuable is scarce, costly, and strongly desired. Chiropractic isn't that scarce. There's a lot of chiropractors around. Is it costly? Not really. Is it strongly desired? Not really. Well, why isn't chiropractic strongly desired? Do you think it would be? Well, right now, only 8% of the world population visit a chiropractor on a regular basis. 8% of the United States population. So, and then so many patients insist adamantly that we check to see if their insurance covers the care. Is it valuable? Not if insurance doesn't cover it. And do we have people lined up around the block waiting to get in? No. Okay, why? Because nobody understands what chiropractic is. They don't understand that it's basically turning on your body's own innate intelligence, its own innate power, so that it can heal itself. So, see, the power of chiropractic is the power that believes that the power that made the body can heal the body. The greatest physician who ever lives right inside of you. It is your innate intelligence. Whose goal is to survive. Ultimate survival is the innate intelligence goal, to keep you alive, healthy, and thriving. So the valuable final product of a chiropractor, or chiropractic, is a body which is functioning as close to 100% as possible. All right? Now, I thought, well, let's look at some other things out there. What about the vaccine? How about the COVID vaccine? People were lining up to get it, right? Was it strongly desired? Yeah. Was there a scarcity? Maybe at first. Did it cost? How much did it cost? Because it has to cost something to be truly valuable. It was free, pretty much. That's weird, isn't it? COVID vaccines players split $100 billion, $40 billion in profits, with Moderna leading the way. So we're looking at a valuable final product. What was the product that it produced? The people that got the vaccine get sick just as much as the people that didn't get the product. But it was advertised very well. And people have this fear that if they didn't get it, something was going to happen. However, I see people every day, along with the rest of the people in the healthcare profession, that see long COVID, all kinds of things damaged from the actual thing rather than just getting the disease itself. I've been lucky to have none, and 3 years, nothing. So anyway, I just want to compare the value of that versus the value of something that keeps you healthy naturally. Then I talk about my stem cell machine, this tissue regenerative therapy machine. How valuable is that? Well, it's scarce. There's only 600 in the country. When I got mine, there were only 200 in the country. Is it costly? Yeah, the machine costs a lot. And, it costs a lot to run. So in order for us to run the show, it does definitely have a cost attached to it. Strongly desired? It's starting to be. So here's something that is costly. It's a lot more costly than chiropractic because there's not enough machines around. And they're very expensive. They come from Germany, but the results are amazing. Then we're going to look at one other thing, and that's Western medicine. Is it scarce? No, it's on every corner. Is it costly? Maybe, but insurance pays for it. Is it strongly desired? Well, people feel like it's a necessity. The United States spent $574 billion on medications in 2021. So costly, yeah. $574 billion spent on medications in 2001. $4.3 trillion in healthcare costs in the United States. $4.3 trillion in 2021. 18% of the gross national product goes to healthcare. That's unbelievable. Are people healthier today than they were in the 60s? No. 6% of the children were obese in the 60s. 50% are obese now. 6% had some kind of chronic autoimmune disease. Over 60% of our children have chronic autoimmune disease now. 1 out of 33 male children born are in the autistic range. The U.S. is rated 74th in the world for health. We take 50 to 70% of all the medications made in the world, depending on which articles you read. And we're only 4% of the world population. So it's pretty interesting. We take 80% of all the opioids made in the world. We're only 4% of the world population. So maybe it's time for us to rethink our value of, what is a product for us. When you go to the healthcare facility, do you come out with prescriptions? Are those prescriptions fixing something or covering up the symptoms of something? I think it would be amazing to have people decide to take their own health in their own hands and see what they can do to be healthy. I'm sorry that this is not on KSCO Live today on the radio station. Right before I got on the air, everything seemed to shut down. And we have Dave and Alex in there working their tails off to try to get it going, but I will send it to Billy, and it will be on the KSCO website, so you'll be able to listen to it, or I'll put it on my McCollum Wellness Radio podcast. So a couple of the things that I wanted to ask, and I'm, again, really sorry I'm not asking this on air, is the Santa Cruz Good Times Best Of is coming up again this month, and we won Best of Good Times Chiropractor several years in a row. I'd love to win it again. So any of you that are out there that are listening that have experienced my services, then please get on and vote for me as you would in the past. Also, you could vote for the best author and of the best local author. So I would love that. In fact, anybody that wants one of my books, if you email info@McCollumFamilyChiropractic.com, info@McCollumFamilyChiropractic.com, I will, and you tell me which book you want. While the supplies that I have in my office last, I'll send you one. So I have 4 historical fictions. Adventures of Little Big Jim, which takes place in the 1850s as the kids are their families coming across on a wagon train, settling in Carmel, and the kid gets hijacked, shanghaied, kind of a fun story, followed by the sequel to that, which is called Journey's End, goes to China in 1850. Then I have Coaling Station A, which is about Kalinga in the early 1900s when my grandfather was the editor of the newspaper. It was the biggest oil boom in history at that point. And there's it's called Coaling Station A. It's a murder mystery. Then I have Kaleidoscope, which is my grandfather's younger brother flew in World War I. And this is a story about a fighter pilot in France flying in World War I, got shot down over enemy lines. So any of those four, if you want, just go info at McCollum Family Chiropractic and just say, I'd like one of Duncan's books. If you have one specifically, write it down or name it, and then I will, I'll send it to you on me, as long as I have them in stock. I also have the two health books. Turn Back Your Biological Clock, and New Hope for Sciatica. So if you'd rather have one of those, I'd like to send them to you. And the reason I'm doing this is it's the end of the year. This is, even though this was supposed to be my last radio show, it's not even on the air. So I'm just doing this on Facebook Live as it is. And, you know, you just have to go with it. You just have to make things happen. So I'm going to, for a minute, talk about why I actually got my TRT machine, the stem cell machine. And I was writing this up for the Dr. Erica who does the stem cells in my office. And I just wanted her to understand the power of this machine. So due to a severe repetitive trauma, injury to his shoulder, Dr. McCollum was not only unable to practice or adjust patients, but couldn't even lift his right arm away from his side. He had to use his left arm to lift his right arm to his mouth to eat because he couldn't manage a fork with his left hand. It kept hitting the side of my face. This was the least of his problems, as the activities of daily living were so painful, if not impossible to do. He had tried all alternative treatments, even going to Mexico for PRP, platelet-rich plasma treatments or injections. All signs pointed to a complete tear of the supraspinatus tendon, part of the rotator cuff. Not only did his future look dim, with potential shoulder surgery looming in the distance, but so did his survival, as his ability to continue as a treating chiropractor looked grim as well. Dr. McCollum heard about the TRT machine from a colleague and mentor, Dr. Dan Pompa. Dr. Pompa's son, Daniel Jr., had just fractured 3 thoracic vertebrae while cliff diving. He misjudged his jump, plummeting 60 feet onto an outcropped rock, landing first on his heels, then his tailbone. The impact not only fractured his heels, but caused the compressive force, crushing thoracic vertebra 10, 11, and 12. Dan was only 21 years old, and the surgeons wanted to put a steel cage around his spine, or they said he may never walk again. As Daniel and his dad, Dr. Pompa, were considering the surgery as necessary, they were introduced to the stem cell machine, the Softwave or TRT machine, by Dr. Matt Diderot. Having nothing to lose, they decided to try the TRT machine along with the other innovative modalities that they were exploring. The results were nothing less than miraculous. Not only was young Daniel walking within 4 weeks, but he was on a trip in Europe at 6. With this in mind, Dr. McCollum reached out to Matt Diderot to locate a machine he could try. McCollum drove for hours to where the machine could be found. There it sat, underutilized, its healing powers misunderstood and untapped. After just 10-minute treatment, one 10-minute treatment, Dr. McCollum could lift his arm 40 degrees without pain. A week later, he made the trip again. The result, another 80 degrees. 80 degrees of painless motion. At that point, Dr. McCollum bought his own machine, and the rest is history in the making. We've treated over 1,000 patients with the machine with remarkable results. The TRT machine operates on sound. The sound travels at 3,358 miles an hour and penetrates the body through the applicator head the technician places over the injured body part. This creates a physiological effect which apparently attracts the patient's dormant stem cells residing in the patient's bone marrow to the treatment site. Stem cells are the basic unit of life and, not unlike a chameleon, can evolve into any type of cell. Thus, when attracted to a muscle cell, the stem cell can become a muscle, or when attracted to a tendon, blood vessel, or organ, can then become that tissue. The machine also is understood to create something called angiogenesis, which literally means new blood vessel growth. In other words, new capillaries, the smallest blood vessels in our body, can grow into the site of the treatment. This is significant for things like diabetic neuropathy, where the existing blood vessels get clogged up with sticky red blood cells called glycinated red blood cells. This health issue is measured in the patient's blood as elevated hemoglobin A1C, which anybody with diabetes knows what that is. This is why the TRT machine has been cleared by the FDA for treating diabetic neuropathy. University studies, hospital studies, experimenting with TRT on heart has shown increased blood vessel growth in heart muscles. This is out of our scope, yet a very important study. Another effect that TRT has is of an analgesic nature, pain relief. It has been shown that the sound wave pushes the pain-causing cytokine chemicals out of the treated area, as well as attracting healing nutrients, white blood cells, and other of the body's healing elements to the area being treated. There is still so much more we don't know about this machine, and it is amazing what just plain old sound can do to heal the body. Again, we are pioneers in this area, experimenting with the TRT machine for the last, we were the first one in Northern California or California in private practice to even have one. So if you live locally, which I know this isn't going out on the air right now, but anybody on Facebook living locally, I encourage you to try the TRT, the stem cell machine, a $49 special. Hi, Dari. Good to see you out there in Texas. You can find one. You can go to trtllc.com and you can go to providers and find one in your area. And just let them know that I brought it up on the show and that you're interested in trying it. We have a $49 special. I don't know if they do, but it's worth a try. And we've seen some incredible results with it. All right, well, I've got a few minutes left before the end of my last show on KSCO, which isn't being broadcast. That's too bad, but you know what? I'm good with it. It is what it is. So I started the show talking about, your goals for 2023, things that you might do differently, knowing that what got you where you are today won't get you where you want to go. So one of the things is to try to figure out what your goals are for 2023. Usually I have people write down 3. I used to write down, 20, but I think that it's best served to write down the 3 goals. And I can tell you a couple of things that have worked for me. Before my first 2 books were published, I had them on my goal board for 2 years. I'd written them. I didn't know if they were any good or not. I eventually, after moving this picture of my published book from goal board to goal board every year, I found a friend of mine introduced me to Tony Seaton, who is a publisher. He read them, liked them, published them. And, I also had a grand piano on my goal board for several years. And one day, after moving it year after year after year, just putting it there, put it there, that goal that you have. Thanks, Jen. One day a friend of mine called, and his father had passed away, and I grew up with him. I knew him since we were both under 1 year old. And Gregory called and said, hey, would you like Dad's piano? And his dad had a grand piano, a Kwai that he got from the San Francisco Opera House. Amazing, barely played. And so all of a sudden off of my goal board under my living room came this grand piano. Now, if I'd never really solidified the fact that I wanted something like that, I may not have ever got it. So, you know, you are what you think about. Whatever you think about, you end up talking about, and when you talk about, you bring about it. So, you know, I really hope that everybody out there has, who has tuned into my shows over the years, have enjoyed them. You can email info@McCollum Family Chiropractic if you like. And if you do and want one of my books, just say I'm interested in a book, I'll send you one. If you want a historical fiction, say, please send me a historical fiction. If you're more interested in, hey, Dennis, good to see you. Happy New Year. If you're more interested in a health book, let me know that, and I'll send you that at my cost. So info@McCollum Family Chiropractic. And again, this is potentially the last show I'll be doing on KSCO. I am going to continue to broadcast these things because it's so much fun talking to people. I'm going to read some of these quotes again. One is from Mark Twain on purpose, the power of purpose. The two most important days in your life are the days you're born and the day you discover the reason why. Here's one from Viktor Frankl. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but by the lack of meaning and purpose. So think about your life, think about people you know, the people that are perhaps succeeding more, and I don't mean dollars and possessions, but happy and out there serving people or doing something that's fulfilling to you know, so find a purpose, find somebody to help, go out and serve. Serve is the greatest thing that a human being can do, is help other people. I happen to be fortunate to be in the field of helping people, and my staff, we work so hard, and we have a great time trying to get people to have the limitations to their physical body taken away from them by helping them overcome the things that are holding them back. So many times people come in their 50s, 40s, 30s, 60s, 70s, 80s. My oldest patient was 105, my youngest a week, or actually a couple days. But when they go, oh, my back pain, my sciatica, my headaches, my arm pain, my elbow, my knees, you know, I've been told that my knees are bone on bone. 90% of the time I take an x-ray, they're not. They just didn't know what to do with them. Now the stem cell machine can help people with that. But the point I was going to make is oftentimes people are saying, oh, well, you know, when I used to play golf, or when I used to like to walk on the beach, or I used to run, or I used to like to garden, I wish I could get down on the floor to help hold my grandkids or play with my pets. It's amazing when you find that people continue to lower the bar as their physical limitations dictate. And when you find out what's really the cause of your health issues, and you can start to eliminate those and raise the bar again and get pleasures of your life back. You know, many of you know my appendix ruptured in November of last year, a little over a year ago, and I was laid up. I was 5 days in a hospital. So, you know, I understand the power of Western medicine and how important it is. But I also know that so many of us are utilizing Western medicine in a way that is hurting us. It's holding us back. Why? Because we're rated 47th in the world for health. I know that. And we take 70% of all the drugs made in the world. Where's that statistic? Oh, yeah. The United States spent $4.3 trillion on healthcare in 2021. 4.3 trillion, 18% of the gross national product. So you got to wonder, wow, there's a big business, a lot of money being made in that. The vaccine made $100 billion in sales, $40 billion in profit. Moderna is making most of that money. So, sorry to jump around a little bit, but without the station running, I haven't been able to take my commercials and reboot. So we've got a couple minutes left here. I just want to mention to KSCO, even though I'm not on the air, how much I've enjoyed radio broadcasting all these years, and I look forward to potentially continuing in some venue to be able to broadcast out on the radio through KSCO. I'm very interested in continuing that because I get such good feedback from y'all, and it's also fun. It's a voice. I get to talk to you about health. Right now there's, I don't know how many chiropractors there are in Santa Cruz. I think there's 150 or something like that. And we're not busy enough. I'm very busy, probably because I'm on the air and I'm outflowing a lot. But if you know people that aren't going to chiropractors, have them go visit some of us. We are out there. We're probably the most important healthcare provider you could have, because we will help free your body's innate intelligence up so that it can heal itself. That's what we do. The first adjustment was done in 1895 by D.D. Palmer on a janitor named Harvey Lillard. Harvey Lillard was walking around cleaning up the shop. D.D. Palmer at the time was working with magnetic healing. He was working, there we go. He was working with magnets, and this janitor came by and he was, trying to converse with him, and he basically asked if he could look at his spine, because DD been studying spines, and he found a big lump on the right side of his neck, right below the skull. That's what we call the atlas, or C1, the top vertebra in the neck. And when DD palpated it, he found it to be very sore on Harvey. And BJ, his son, was there. He was 14 at the time. And apparently, as the story goes, DD asked Harvey if he could try to move the bone back into place. And Harvey said, sure, why not? So DD performed the first adjustment ever known, chiropractic adjustment, on Harvey Lillard's neck, and his hearing improved. They say it came back. So that's where chiropractic was born. Innate intelligence. Freeing up the innate intelligence in the body can cause amazing amount of healing. I take advantage of the fact that, sometimes we have 100 people come through our office and we adjust them, and one adjustment is a miracle. And we take it for granted as chiropractors. Okay, next person, we palpate, find out where it's out, and boom, 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 we move that bone, and the next thing we know, the person's healthier. One of my favorite chiropractors, Reggie Gold, he says, chiropractic is there. It's not necessarily there to get your body out of pain, but it's there to help your body communicate better. Pain's is actually there. It's your friend telling you something's wrong. So when we are able to adjust the body and get the body to function better, and perhaps your symptoms can improve, they may not completely go away, but we know that if we can improve the communication from the brain down, your body's going to be healthier. Every cell, organ, and tissue in your body has a nerve telling it what to do. Each cell in your body, of which there's 75 trillion cells in your body, each cell does 60 million functions a minute, all controlled through the nervous system by the brain, and your innate intelligence creates this whole thing. It's so amazing to think that we can produce a chemical in the way of a drug that can be smarter than the innate intelligence of our body. So, sure, it might cover up a symptom, and if your body's messed up long enough, it might even save your life. But why let it go that far? You know, the thing is to try to do what you can to keep your body as healthy as possible. You need to find somebody to help you. Our office is always open. We have the $49 TRT special, and we'd love to have you come in and do that if you're local. Since I'm only broadcasting on Facebook today because the radio station isn't working apparently, if you'd like to try one, go to trtllc.com, like limitedliabilitycorp.com, and you can find one in your area. Just go to providers. Most of the chiropractors I know do have a $49 introductory special. We've seen thousands of people in the 3 or 4 years I've had my machine, and it's made incredible differences with people. So I hope that you find one, but definitely find a chiropractor too. But it's so, and then the other thing is set your goals for your year. What do you want to see change in your life this year? Hi, Sheila. What would you like to see happen in the next 12 months? If you don't plan it out or put a goal there, it's not going to happen. So you got to set a goal. It's like, oh, okay, it's January 1st. I'll see what happens by December 31st of 2023. Good luck. You know, you'll end up somewhere, but it's like jumping in a ship and just sailing out in the Pacific or Ocean with no destination in mind. You might get somewhere, you know, or you might just end up floating at sea for the rest of your life, and pretty soon you'll run out of life. So you can do so much to create amazing things in your life. What you think about, you talk about. What you talk about, you bring about. Write down your goals. Write down 3 things that you'd like to see happen this year in the next 12 months. And then read it every day. Read it every day what you'd like to see happen. Also write down what you're grateful for. Write down 10 things that you know that you find every day that you wake up to, or write down 3 if you can't think of 10. Just write down 3 things that you can do, 3 things that you're grateful for. Your life, your health, your family, your friend, your mother, your father, somebody you work for, your dog, your pet. But start to focus on the things that make you happy. Find out what it is that you want to do for the next 12 months. If you're not happy in the job you're in, maybe it's time to do something different. You know, this last year, I've had several patients have passed away from various reasons, you know, heart attacks, all kinds of weird things. And every time this happens, I think how quick life is. You know, why carry grudges? Why not get out there and make today the best day ever? You know, followed by the best day ever, followed by the best day ever. You can do it if you choose to. I'm going to read some of these quotes again because people kind of come and go off of these shows. I was looking up the power of purpose. And this is from Proverbs 29:18. Where there is no vision, people will perish. The mystery of human existence lies not in just staying alive, but finding something to live for. Fyodor Dostoevsky, or something like that. I can't say his name. Les Brown. Too many of us. Everybody wants to call me right now. Why did you get out of bed this morning, and why should anybody care? Simon Shank. So people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Simon Shank. So what are you doing to make your life better, to make somebody else's life better? You know, we're drawing in to my last live show at KSCO. That's not live because the station went down, unfortunately. I was very looking forward to saying goodbye to all of my listeners over the last 4 years. And unfortunately, unless they're recording this somehow or other, it doesn't look like this show will get out. I'm going to try to get it to Billy because it is Facebook Live, and they might be able to put it on the station for me. I might be able to play it again in a week or so that people can listen to it. But, you know, I do appreciate KSCO all the years I've been here. The staff are amazing. It's such a funky little radio station. It's the only one of its kind anymore. It was fashioned after something in the 40s or 30s of RCA Victor music studio. We're drawn to a close. I don't have my music to play out or anything. If it doesn't interest me what you do for a living, I want to know what you ache for. And if you dream of meeting your heart's longing, do you dream of meeting your heart's longing? Now would be a great time to settle down, get out a piece of paper, and go, what do I long to do in this lifetime? What have I, you might be 2, 4, 10, 20, 50, 80 years old. What haven't you done in this life yet? What do you want to do? There's no reason to stay where you are. If you want to do something different, do it. See if I have any more closing quotes. I love this one. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by a lack of meaning and purpose. So find your meaning, find your purpose. The 2 most important days, according to Mark Twain, the 2 most important days in life are the day you're born and the day you discover why. Find your purpose. Okay, well, it's been great. Love you all. If you want one of my books, info at McCollumFamilyChiropractic.com. While I have them in stock, I will send them out to you at my cost. Just send me your address, which book you want, and tell your friends if they need help, they can call us. We still have the $49 TRT special going. And Dr. McCollum signing out. Thank you all. Love you. Bye.